Welcome, welcome. So there's two eruptions. I didn't even realize Kilauea is erupting since September, maybe? New fissure. Mauna Loa eruption raw footage. Let's try to get a long one. It's just raw. I don't really want... This is USGS, so maybe this is... Okay. A little bit of too much stuff in the middle, but that's okay. Today, dominant fountain at fissure 3. Oh my god. I feel like this is how the Earth fractured apart, was like this, but then at a long enough distance between the continents, because they were together, and it just physically had a fissure like this running, like continuously. Once it opened, just pretty much continuously until the Earth expansion process stopped, but then widening and widening to a point where there's just huge rivers flowing, just huge rivers, just like these, between the continents. Like, here's a continent, here's a huge river flowing. That's creating the ocean floor. But between it, like, it's physically severing the entire space between them. Okay, I know there's better ones, I just don't... Okay, let me search for this. Maybe I can find theirs directly. Looks like everyone's just getting it from them somehow. It probably is a channel that's not even like in the top however many hits, because all these other places have all the hits. Okay, whatever. Let's just go with theirs. This is from Global News, but from Paradise Helicopters, I guess. Tropical Visions video. Let's slow it down, because there's a lot going on. That eruption right there, and then not, it's like not erupting, it's kind of, and then eruption. And then eruption, probably. Just like, it's coming in pulses along the whole length. Whoa. It's like a wave. Maybe it goes under, it goes out and then under, and then out and then under, and then out like a dragon. This is, if we look at this map, is where the currents are, like, widening. So, right here. So maybe it is actually going over and under and over and under, but in a way where, because it's like showing a cross section of like, it was like this and now it's like this, so it's like showing a cross section where it was physically going over and under a current like that was flowing, that was very much like this basically, but then it widened, like essentially this side and this side separated, an opening formed like a shallogram. I noticed this bubble right here that looks kind of... I was thinking, like, when these mounds get, like, overwhelmed by the lava flows around them, do they start to bubble like that? And basically produce, like, eddies around their boundary that swirl generally around it to produce, like, a tendency for bubbles to form above them that, like, spiral up and out, like off of the screw of the current flowing around such a structure, maybe. Or if it's just like straight gas. It's probably like that though, like it's got some source of like just a mass underneath it that's more than the surroundings, that the surrounding currents is caused to like flow around and up and then focusly like out of like a specific location, and there's just kind of shaped by the currents that float in this to produce just like a string of nodes. Maybe. Single inlet that starts to branch out, or else it's, I'm not sure which direction this is, because it kind of rejoins over here. This is, goes off here. It must be going this way. It has to be because it's ending here. So it branches at 3 directions, one of which it forms like this intermediary separator, one of which forms this like low mass, and the other like the current continues through. So it's kind of like the hand of God that we've been seeing repetitively. This one, like this, where it has like a low energy conduit, a intermediary, and then like the main conduit. Low, intermediary, main, but the main one continues off of this, so like over time it builds this way and continues this way instead of going down the middle one, so it basically ends up amounting into small, medium, and then continued path forward kind of process. Since we could see further back, let's see what's up. Is that here? Or does it cut away? Oh yeah, it cut away, okay. They do seem to be merging again. I'd have to see more. I'm just basing off of that region. It may not be completely of that nature. There's certainly things of that nature going on here, whether or not that was a location of it. Unclear. Is this like the wrist? If it is one, maybe it is like the wrist, although I think it would be on this closer side. so much faster. Okay, here we have real interesting, like a node with the surrounding eruption, but this is like just getting material deposited on it and stripped away from it. So it's really producing eddies around it that maybe aren't fully through it on this plane of existence of like basalt, but the heat is probably just flowing through it in a more of a figure eight type thing going on to a point where maybe like the boundary here is like its actual like field of heat, that is its magnetic field. Let's go to that speed. Whereas this is more circular. I paused it. It almost has like right now frozen. Almost like we're looking at this kind of features where there's like a here, but instead it's upward propagating. Let's look at it a little. It would be real interesting if that happens. Like, it looks plausible. Now I'm just looking for it and not looking for anything else. It would certainly be subtle, depending on the dimension, like what systems are being observed. Like in this instance, it's so fast, it probably would be subtle to see it. Right there, it looked like it had an outer boundary, and inner mass. Right there. Where did that come from? There. It does generally look like it's coming from the far side up in this way and maybe cycling like this. It looks like there's just a bunch of little circle type shapes here. Sup, man? Okay, let's get a better view of this. I'm slowing it down. It's a little too fast. I know it's like at half speed, and people are like, "What the?" What the? It just kind of. Just kind of floats there. And then like in a moment of like balance, and then free falls pretty much. Churning though, it really looks like there's a churn, and it's not just like up down, there's an actual like churning going on. That is seemingly related to here in some energetic way that's maybe not completely just happenstance. Like there's like, because that mass is there, it's playing into like the dynamics overall. Like this really is maybe causing this degree of upwelling, almost like it's pushing down and causing just like a greater force of upwelling than over here, and maybe other like systems. Like this system isn't, it's not really in the fracture line. Maybe this is also like a node energetic bond, like a chakra between the fissure sides that is creating this churning, and this is sort of like a chakra, a shallogram. Shallograms do frequently form with a smaller and a larger segment. It may have like aspects that are reminiscent. When I watched this, I was like, which way are these currents flowing? It looks like it's coming out here, going around this way and wrapping around itself. Like this current is flowing this way. This current is flowing this way, I believe. No, it is. Free at night. This is for certain going this way. This must be coming downhill generally. So it must be like physically pushing it uphill here. Uphill around and then wrapping around this way. Oh my god, that eruption right there. Producing the like dendrites. Maybe. Is that where it is? Not sure if that's where it is. This is incredible. Wow. I feel like water does it the same way in like a rapid deluge. Like a flood creates similar but opposite dendrites of like inward depressions of dendritic things that like overlay. Instead of overlaying like lower elevation as this does, it like reaches a flat terrain and kind of branches out, begins to branch out more. Instead of it doing something of that nature, it does it the opposite, where it reaches a sloped terrain and begins to like branch out as it goes uphill, producing more of a dendritic opposing feature from the water flows. When there's like substantial water flows that are able to totally reshape the land in the same way as this, that are not. Basically, the flood was that, and like nothing resembles it since, really. In the same way as the Earth expansion was basically doing the same thing on the same scale, but and nothing resembles it since. Maybe there's places where there's like a lot of water upwelling. Maybe that's even this type of thing happens opposite though on Kauai, where there's a lot of rainfall. I'm not sure if other islands of Hawaii have similar rainfall. I did mean to check into that, see what the rainfall is like yearly around the Big Island and other islands, see if anything's comparable to 400 inches a year or whatever Kauai gets at the summit. This is crazy. Big one, and then just a stretch. However exactly it energetically connects, probably along this way. And these are just flows off of out of it that are like overflowing and then running downhill because of the upwelled magma chamber. It looks like it just continues right there, straight on through. For at least this segment, it might like branch at points like that. I don't know if that's actually not actually there, but just this is interesting. It's crossing streams. I bet that's a real interesting point to observe. The magma flows. It didn't look very interesting though. This looks way more interesting where that mass is. It's making me think of a shallogram forming like this. Well, let's find a good one. Luckily, it was at 25% speed, so we only progressed about a second. Okay. Like a smaller one over here, the larger one over there. With like a center mass system there that's bonded between two sides that have like a fracture running between them that's widening in ways energetically based on specifically that there's this mass here maybe. And then it's like, so maybe there's something of this nature where like the rock, I was just thinking like, is lying with like gravity pressing down on one side, or that in essence like the atmosphere pressing down on one side and it's like boiling up there kind of thing. But I don't think that's how they formed, but like that seems to be like the opposite of how they formed, which is from them pressing down on something like the earth and having like a flattened side on of the rock. Whereas in this case, it's really like the opposite, like it's pressing up on space pretty much. So it's almost like the earth here is resting on space in a similar way as this shallogram was resting on a flat surface of the earth pretty much. So the earth maybe, and this is how it manifests in that way. That's my thoughts. Like there's stuff of that nature, maybe not exactly in this instance because it's not quite the like crystalline identical like process maybe, but it's like capturing some of the things going on. This is certainly reminiscent of things that can happen with shallograms. Kind of like here. Where there's like inward and outward teeth pretty much between that are like the more stable portion, and then an opening region of the like currents of heat pretty much that are widening and exploding out, just pushing outward from some explosive like center that's creating a space, that's creating a pattern that repeats over and over again. So like maybe over there isn't like this one, but is more like where it hasn't really carved substantially, but it's carved. I mean, that one's probably just a flow. Like it really needs a vent to compare it to the shallograms probably. When it's a flow, maybe it's comparable. Let's just keep playing this. It's going out this way and this way. Branching off over here. So this is like a main current, a secondary current, and a tertiary current. Small, medium, large. Creating positive, neutral, negative. Just flowing down this river. Just a small scale version of what would have happened between the continents. An actual physical river of molten lava that became the ocean floors. Initially just creating a gap and then at some point beginning to just nova and push freely expand because there wasn't resistance once all the bonds of the earth broke enough that it could freely expand. Then, like, it began to just widen. And make the river probably substantially wider, but like solidifying a crust in the process that has like the oceanic crust age type things, where they're like oldest at the boundary of the continents and youngest like at the eruption point. Bunch of nodes, that's interesting. Just like a stream of nodes forming here. Maybe a stream of bigger nodes at a larger distance outward too. Less of that going on beyond this, like, this almost looks like the surface of Jupiter. Well, the atmosphere. Stream. So, continuous current, an undercurrent that's for sure flowing and at points is able to physically sever the overlying crust to upwell through it, creating both this line of eruptions and just a general current is flowing. I don't want to play people's videos that are probably going to ban me. Like, it's not allowed. Oh, not allowed kind of thing. Let's see. This is a full-blown, like, report. Looks like it's mostly just, like, details, not images. Well, this is global news again. So maybe a different video. I just don't want to play any of these videos. That's too bad. There's like not much. That's incredible looking right there. Oh my god. If that is in any way reflective of what's actually here, that would be super. What is going on here? Just single images. Whoa. Oh, I think the stream really doesn't, it just captures like shots. It doesn't actually continuously stream. So this probably is the live stream or whatever the term. That's crazy. The live photo stream. Okay. Well, I don't want to click them. Exploring Mauna a month ago. Maybe this one. U.S. Coast Guard. It's pretty much just a line again. This way. Okay, well, I'll be back. That's all I got for now.